until you get your new phone. Then we'll go live when you get your new phone.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
I will tell you.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
Mom, Dad, please stop fighting.
Well, the upload stream decided to not do the whatever, so we're not going to do the whatever. We are instead going to shoot a video on the selfie stick, and we're going to talk about a few things. So, some of what we discussed last week, which that video then got destroyed because the phone got wet. So, um, you know what? I don't want to hit that first. We'll come back to that. I will pan this way, Miss Squid, and then that way you can retrieve El Babio, so that you are not on El Camaro. El Nino.
So it's hot out here. It's called Texas.
All right.
Did we let the neighbor's yard on fire?
Left that there?
Yeah.
Hayden did. Does that make sense now?
So anyway, David N., the termite guy, the pest control guy, wanted to know, as far as starting a group, how do you vet people? When people show up and you're meeting people, how do you vet people?
I think it's your gut feel. You got to get in tune with your gut feel, because we have that sense to be able to tell if something's off or not right. Second, from some of my time in, 85% of intelligence that you can collect on something can be done open source. So research the person, research patterns that they may have on social media posts. It gives you a sense of the kind of person or where they're coming from. But research. You're gonna run into guys that aren't quite, guys or gals that aren't quite right. That's just what this is.
That's just life.
Yeah, I mean, it's life in general, but I think it's even more so with people who are trying to be prepared. Because there are people out there like, I can't wait for SHTF. Like, no.
Yeah.
I hope it never happens.
Yep.
Like, and I live my life like it's never going to happen, but on the side, I'm ready in case it does.
Yeah.
That's normal, I think, personally. That's a big stretch calling myself normal.
Yeah.
Anyway, that would be my initial kind of 2 cents on. And hey, listen, the whole reason I'm here is because I finally realized that I need to stop hiding. Because I could find myself very, very easily if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But B, there's more and more of people like us now that need help.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need to be helping people. And that is what's brought me out to say, you know what, if somebody knows where I live, like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, because my whole plan come SHTF, if it happens, is inclusion.
Yeah.
I'm bringing into the fold as many people as I possibly can. I mean, I'm prepping for myself plus others.
Yep.
So not just our family. Because I've said it before, my biggest fear is a father or mother who's watching their child starve. Anything else I can handle, like scumbags, whatever. That though, like, you can see the most Christian person, most religious person, most, nicest person you've ever met turn into an animal when they're watching their kid starve to death or has no water, and I mean, that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
But you've got to put yourself out there. Is kind of the point I'm getting at. Is I finally realized that I have to put myself out there. I need to be helping other people. So you're going to run into that.
So David has taken our advice and is starting a group in his area of operations, and they're having their first meetup. And basically what he asked is how to separate the pennies from the quarters. Do you have anything to add to this? You got any insight? Any thoughts?
Um,
It's okay if you don't, and if you do, that's okay too.
yeah, really, I think people really overlook the gut feeling on kind of stuff. I mean, you really gotta absolutely trust that, and you can, if anything at all feels fishy, you just don't let them join your group.
Trust it.
You trust it,
Yeah.
absolutely trust it.
Yep.
There's been a lot of times in my life that I've told myself, there's no reason to actually trust your gut. It's just a stupid feeling, but at the same time, there's a reason we have that.
I've never regretted following my gut,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of times I regret not going with what
Exactly.
my gut said.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a reason why that's a saying. Trust your gut, go with your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's some.
Well, I would take it back to before we got socialized. Right? I mean, there's a reason why we have that voice inside of us, because it was like not get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger.
Right.
Right? Like, I mean, it was fight or flight. That voice kept you alive.
Yeah.
Because it's helping guide you to go, yeah, don't go down this ravine, because this woolly mammoth is going to run over you.
There's a dog and a cat out now, and
I know, Beck, go slow.
2 children, and a bear and a Cody and a squid.
Look what I have done.
So I would say, as far as like reading somebody's intent, if they seem to you to be now a scumbag, I would only think that would be amplified in a situation, a high stress environment, that whatever natural tendencies that person has now is going to get amplified in a high stress environment. If they have a nervous tick, it's going to get worse. If they talk too much, it's going to get worse. If they drink too much, it's going to get worse. Whatever that is, it's going to get worse. The more stress you add, the worse it's going to get. So I would be looking for those things now, the gaps in people's armor now, and also just understand the psyche of a person, the way they're put together, because there's things that I know about my brothers here that if we were in a high stress environment, not because I would want to exclude y'all from the club, but it would help me deal with you in that situation better.
Yeah.
Right? So
I just opened this up. So Cody brought over some cigars, and I'm like, man, you know what? I did this book, my last deployment, of just kind of, getting through Iraq.
and it says I love dudes in Arabic.
And I think it says, like I climb on dudes in Arabic, because that's probably what my interpreter wrote for me to put on there. But it's funny. I opened this up because it's one of my favorite cartoons. But across there, there was a quote that I wrote by one of the Cohibas I had. It has been my experience that folks who have no vices have very few virtues.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yep.
But I think what you're talking about is being able to control those vices when the situation warrants.
Right.
But here, this is TJ literally couldn't stop laughing for like 5 minutes. You probably have to read it because
Promise that you won't wear a suicide vest, fire a mortar, stockpile weapons, or plant an IED, because if you do, we'll kill you. Just 2 of them?
2?
Buddy, they're not going to bother you. There's just 2 fire ants.
It's just 2
Just
fire
smush them together.
Step on
They
it.
can kill you.
They can't
No,
kill
they
you.
can't kill you.
You got
They're
bit
just-
No,
by
they're made out of fire.
You got bit by 100 fire ants when you were a year and a half old. Do you know that?
Dude, you have electricity in your body. Did you know that?
I can't. I don't.
Hey, Beck, go kill the fire ants for him.
Go kill the fire ants. So, but I would also say
Oh, I
the
gotta charge
tendencies
it,
that
buddy.
you
It won't
see in
be ready.
people now that are like,
Too heavy for
that guy's a good guy. Well, if he's a good guy now, odds are he's going to be a good guy then. So a lot of times SHTF gets blown out of proportion, because it could really be a real deal if there's a catastrophic event. The what next, man? Well, you know what the what next is probably going to be? You grow old, you grow gray, and now you need to cash your IRA in and live for the rest of your life on a fixed income. That's probable. and historically, it's likely. So, wouldn't it be great to know a bunch of good people, and then if something happens, you have a tribe that you can coalesce around each other, and get by. If something doesn't happen, you have a lot of cool friends with interesting hobbies and good stories to share.
And
At a ninja, what's Ninja Day? We get our own suit and our own sword. No. But next summer, it maybe will be ninjas or
Ninjas. If you can find a ninja for your group, I would recommend getting a ninja.
what?
Would you
Yeah.
concur?
I don't care. What was it? The Walking Dead? They had the Ninja Kid.
I think so. Yeah.
Where Macy is. Okay, cool.
today, our AC went out, and the AC guy came out, and he was Asian, and he had to climb up into the one side of our house for the AC unit, and it's not easy. Like, I gave him a ladder at least, but like I do it without a ladder, and I'll get myself up there. And he's getting ready to get down, and he's like, "I should be a ninja." I'm just like, I want to laugh so bad right now, but
But I can't.
like, if I laugh right now, is he gonna be like, "Oh"?
That would be culturally insensitive. Well, he said it. If he says it, you can laugh at it. He brought it up.
Hey, buddy, no, I'm watering the garden right now.
I don't know if he can't get out of an attic without a ladder. I'm not too worried about him.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean? What's he gonna trap you in? Like, he said, she said, verbal statement while he was inside your house working. Like, it's hard to sue your way out of that one. You know what I mean?
Everett, no.
So, all right. Starting a group. How do you start a group? You make friends with people. It's the same way that, like, how do you start a play group for your kids? They need friends, right? How do you start, like, a dinner group? Hey, come to my house for dinner.
Absolutely the best way to start.
Yeah.
It brings everyone together.
Yeah, exactly.
We were just talking about that.
We were just
sitting
having
down
dinner
at
earlier
Yep.
talking about that.
Like,
Yep.
man, that's the thing that just brings people together.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, to realize is, like, there are degrees to preparedness, and not everybody is going to have a Connex box filled with materiel and weapons and MREs day one.
Really?
Shh. Don't go blowing my cover, man. So,
Is that how you started?
that stupid selfie stick. I really am not envious, but I would say appreciative of preteen girls now. Like,
I got our selfie stick confiscated at Disneyland last year, or World, or whatever one in California
you
is.
can't. Yeah, Cinderella doesn't like that.
No.
When you go under the hem of the skirt, that's
And
unacceptable.
of course, they don't tell you until you've gone 10-minute bus ride from parking.
What happened to my shovel?
Oh my
no.
gosh,
We'll have to get you a new one.
that is a baton. So, point is, make friends with people, invite people over, grill some food, drink some beers in the backyard, and just talk. And preparedness is life. So there's got to be something you have in common in life with these people, and then you can use that as like a preparedness icebreaker as far as building a group goes. And you
There's
may
another
already
one in the
have
garden, buddy.
a pre-existing group that like is your Wednesday night Bible study,
Yeah.
and you're studying the book of Revelation, bless your soul, or maybe Isaiah. That's a little bit easier
That's
to get
better.
into. Yeah, if you're studying Isaiah and you're like, some of this stuff's kind of freaky. What would you do, Cody, if some of this, oh, wow, that's, we have rice put up. Okay, now you're breaking the ice,
And here's another thing I think. you
Don't
can
cut
do.
Cody off.
Sorry, Cody, go.
That doesn't really have anything.
Still don't do it.
So,
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody puts Cody in the corner. No, another thing is hypotheticals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you can really challenge somebody and get to know them, is ask them something hypothetical.
Well, how did I get
like-
you out of your shell? When are you gonna sleep?
Oh, yeah, no.
When are you gonna sleep?
My whole thing was like, I really feel like I can do pretty much everything myself. I just can't sleep 24/7, or I can't be up 24/7.
I wish I could sleep 24/7.
Oh, I know. That was actually my Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Was because I want to sleep 24/7.
Just once.
Just
But,
one
24 hours.
time.
Just one time.
Just to know what it's like.
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
So
How was your
awesome.
Shabbat? I have no idea. I was asleep for all of it. Went to sleep Friday night, woke up Sunday morning.
One time ever on one
Just-
try.
When I used to work power construction, we were doing a job in Connecticut, and we were working 6 days a week, and there were 12-hour shifts, but there was no night manager, so I was running day shift and night shift, and I was sleeping in the bed of my pickup truck, sleeping in a sleeping bag with my clipboard and a pen next to my head and my two-way radio. So about every 10 to 15 minutes, a truck would roll into the yard and need to be dispatched. And they'd be like, T, wake up, T. And I'd roll over and be like, all right, who needs material? And be like, send a load to trench 3. And I'd be like, trench 3. And I'd roll over and go back to sleep. But Sunday would roll around, and I would do some stuff like night shift Saturday would spill over into Sunday morning, and I would sleep from like 10 a.m. Sunday morning to 4 a.m. Monday morning straight. A lot of the time in my clothes.
Yeah.
Like just out, man. And it was brutal. Like it sucked. And then it started getting cold. It was Connecticut, right? And we're winter. It's like January in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So I'm sleeping in the office trailer. And I remember I walked in the office trailer and it had like 2 desks. It was one desktop with 2 knee spaces with a filing cabinet in between the 2. And there was like papers and stuff over it. And I remember walking in and looking at it, and I'm just like zombified, exhausted. I put my arm down on the desk and went, knocked everything onto the floor, crawled onto the desk in my sleeping bag, and I fell asleep in between shifts for like an hour, right? Well, of course, the general manager just happens to show up at this time, comes in, and he's like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. You're asleep in the office trailer? What are you, blah, blah, blah? And I rolled over, looked at him, and goes, I freaking quit. And he's like, you can't quit. I was like, too late, I quit. And he's like, well, who's going to run this job? You are. You can sleep right there. Have a great life. I'm out. So, long and short, an hour later, I'd renegotiated my compensation, and they agreed to hire a night shift manager. But it was miserable, man.
Brutal.
Oh, it was terrible. I have no idea what that has to do with forming a group, but anecdotally,
You have to sleep sometime. That's what it goes back to.
there you go. Good tie-in.
Yeah, there you go.
You're a vital member of this team, Cody. So, so starting a group is, make friends with people, and if you already have a group, steal it. Take people from that group and start a new group, or just shift the focus of the existing group to something else. And that's kind of what happened when we started the mag. Was like, we had our men's Wednesday night Bible study, and I knew a bunch of people at church, and I was the guy that went to church with the fixed blade knife on my belt, right?
I didn't find the cards,
What are you doing, man?
but I found these that I couldn't find a while ago.
Yeah.
That you can have for your wallet or something. Here.
Is that like a multi-tool thing?
Well, it's a just-in-case thing.
Oh, it's got like a saw on it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to cut myself on this.
Spinnerbait.
This is gonna be good stuff. Thanks, Squid. Ready, man?
Yeah.
GM. So this is what happens when you have a laser scene. You think this is laser or water jet?
That's laser.
Probably laser. Yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
So
I found that. I couldn't find the cards, but the reason why I went to look for the cards
uh-huh.
is I bought them to check them out. But it's called Conflicted, the game,
Oh yeah.
and it's a. There's where you want to learn somebody, like if
Play
you
that game with
play
them
that game with
and
them
see how they answer.
and ask, and it's all scenarios. Like literally, family walks up to your door, starving,
Yep.
needing water, like about to die. Like, what do you do?
Pastor Joe's talked many a time about that game, and he's talked about that game in the sense of evaluating people for community, for tribe, for group.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that he talks about, which is like, I completely reciprocate with, I agree, is you need to be like-minded in your faith.
Yes.
Like, you have to have like common threads that hold you together. Like, we have context from serving in church together, right? And you and I have shared many a beer, and cooked many a tank full of ethanol truck fuel together and had lots of deep conversation. And, you've pulled me back from the brink of insanity a few times, for which I'm ever grateful. And you and me, as we've discussed many a time, have no real reason to know each other than the hand of the Father. And we have context together. And above and beyond the context, we share a common belief that's bone deep, that I don't have to worry about. The world's ended and Squid builds his community, and by the way, now we're going to follow Sharia law. Whoa, man, this is not what we talked about.
We didn't talk about that.
Bro, take this back. I don't want to know you anymore.
I don't want your bacon tool.
I don't know what I would do. I am not going to say that.
Play nice. So,
inside voice.
Inside voice. And then as far as separating the pennies from the quarters, okay, so
you need pennies. Like, I know you talked about, like, you'd rather have quarters than pennies.
You need nickels. I think you get rid of the pennies.
Well, there may be a few pennies that are useful idiots.
Yes.
So I think it's case by case.
Hold this so I can open this other beer. Show me all your excellent girl skills. That's not
I think it's case by case. I think there are some pennies out there that are shined enough that are useful. I think it's very few.
I would say they have potential
to maybe become nickels.
Be a nickel, yeah.
And maybe just need the right motivation.
Sometimes you need that penny to just sand or sit there and like sand stuff for 8 hours a day.
Sometimes you do.
But eventually, I think my experience has been eventually the penny wears out its welcome. Like, it outlives its usefulness. And eventually it just ends up being something that's a pain. And then you use it for a time, then you get rid of it. Well,
it's got to be a penny that can become more, right? It's a penny in capability now, but it has potential.
Yeah, but see, that's what I call a nickel. A nickel digs holes. Okay. A nickel sands. A nickel splits firewood. And not that those are, useless tasks. They need to get done.
Well, I mean, that helps me in what your definition of a nickel is, too.
Right. Yeah, a penny.
Because I think our definitions, I was looking at a penny differently than you were looking at a penny.
Right. A penny is the guy who's like, I can't wait for SHTF to hit so that after the population is decimated, I can help repopulate the world. That's a penny.
Yeah.
Or
it's not even a measurable amount.
Yeah. It's the kind of person that when you pull out your pocket full of change and you look at it, you go, ugh. Like, if you were to take stock of everybody in this area and line them all up, if you look at them and you just go, why do I have this?
Yeah.
That's a penny.
Yeah.
Everybody else is a nickel, dime, or a quarter. And so the nickels, dimes, and the quarters are your natural born or created leaders. People that are willing to assume responsibility, lead others, be a servant leader, help other people, and make stuff happen. They're not too good to sweep the floor,
right?
But they will sweep the floor if they need to. But they can also go out and lead 14 guys to make something happen.
They will do what they have to do.
Whatever needs to happen, those are your quarters.
They are not too good for anything.
Correct. And the dimes are those. They're basically, for lack of a better term, lieutenants, right? they're on their way, and the nickels they're trying to get there. So how do you sort out your change? Well, the pennies are going to sort themselves out when you're taking stock of the people that you're dealing with. Again, getting back to that gut feeling of I don't know, there's just something about this guy. I don't feel like I should have him here. Done. Get rid of him.
I had one of those happen probably 10 years ago. A little more than 10 years ago. We'd gone out with another couple, and this guy came with them.
Yep.
And I was just like,
nuh-uh.
I just don't like him.
Yeah.
I just don't like you. There's something. and I told my wife, I'm like, stay away from that guy if we're ever around them again. I go, there's just something. I don't know what it is. He's not good.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, no. Like, give people a chance.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. And then it turns out, like, he was a scumbag.
Yeah.
And it's like, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Give people a chance to
because
what? That's
I'm
the
not
thing.
turning this off.
Right.
Like, it's on all the time because, I mean, it's the same reason why I sit facing the entrance to any place I go to. Why I always have an eye on it. Why I always have an eye on exits. Why I'm always have my head on a swivel. Like, it's the same thing. Like, they're out there and they will disguise themselves as being a good guy.
Yep.
It's just like, I don't know if I used this analogy before, but tomato plants have suckers.
Yeah.
Tomato plants
Tomato
have
mans.
suckers.
Tomato mans have a sucker.
Tomato man.
Did you learn this from the guy in your attic?
Yeah.
Pop his head through the hole. Like, oh, the potato plants have a sucker.
So, they
Unsub.
grow suckers, and you clip the suckers out because they do nothing but take away from the plant. But like I just did a bunch of suckers, and guess what? There's flowers on there. It's growing tomatoes.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's still a sucker.
Yep.
It doesn't change its nature.
For the amount of energy that you're going to put into it, yes, it will produce, but how much will it produce?
As it's taking away from
will the body
else.
as a whole exactly be better off without having to sustain that sucker? That sucker. Know what I'm saying? Sucker. So,
I think that.
man, I hope that was helpful. You know?
That covers that, yeah.
But I guess if you had to boil it down into bullet points, trust your dang gut. Like, just trust your gut.
Your instincts were put there by the Father for a reason.
Yes. Go with that for sure. Trust your gut. If the hair in the back of your neck stands up, leave. Get out. Stop talking to that person. Whatever. And then.
So here's a.
Hold on.
No.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Well, then hold on to it for a hot minute.
I will forget. I'm old.
Well, I'll forget too.
Hurry up.
Create opportunities for people to surprise you. Let them do something to contribute, and if they do it and they do it well, let them do some more, and let them do some more. And so you're creating lieutenants out of, you're allowing your nickels to become dimes and your dimes to become quarters, right? Growth, exactly. But you have to create an opportunity for the growth. Go ahead. You still got it?
Talk about instinct. Remember when that church down in South Texas got shot up?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
He shot through the walls and then went in and walked aisle to aisle, killing people.
Yep.
That day, I'm at church and I'm on the safety team and I've got the door, and I may or may not carry. May or may not.
Right.
I had the hair on the back of my neck stand up if something was up.
Yep.
And I became much more. No, you're not using a pitchfork. Go put it back. 7-year-olds and pitchforks. It was a great idea.
Fine, Dad. It's a potato fork.
Put it down.
Not under your brother's head.
Mm-hmm. I had a feeling like something was up that day.
Yeah.
And I was like extra alert. And then we got out of church and I saw the news report.
Yep.
And it was like I felt something was up. And I have no doubt whatsoever that it was a warning.
Yep.
To be like, be vigilant, brother.
Yep.
Like, it is off.
So I'm going to put a bow on this aspect of this video since it's already a half an hour long. So as far as like tribe building, team building, community building, mags, all of that, the nomenclature is helpful just so that other people know what you're talking about. But, a rose by any other name is still a rose. So call it whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't get too caught up in that. Just have a group of people that you literally bet your life on. And right now, if you're not at a point where you'd bet your life on them, build some context, get together and build confidence in one another that, yeah, I know, like, worst case scenario, if it all hits the fan and it's me, Mike, and Cody and our subsequent families somewhere, it's not going to be easy, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. And that's, but that's years of context together. Spending time together, hanging out, getting to know one another. So if you're just starting a group, there's always this sense of urgency with preparedness. Gotta do it right now before Teotihuacan, man. The thing with urgency, though, is that it often causes us to misstep because we get in a hurry, we make mistakes, we let that penny into the group. So be careful and calculated with what you do so that you don't make costly mistakes going forward. So, you got anything else to tell people?
Not on that. I say we shoot another video later this week on
Yeah,
those other two.
the top stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
I think so.
Okay,
We're how long are we now? 30. Yeah.
30. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say I think that's a good separate topic.
Yep. Me too. This is a good breakout.
Yeah.
Cool. Bye.